Hello, everybody. Happy Friday to all that are watching this video. We have a lot to talk about, guys. I have not done this in so long. I have not done this in almost 3 years, 2 years, but yeah, it's been about 2 years since I've done a Robinhood portfolio review. Back in the old days, I was doing this. I definitely was into the whole, streaming the portfolios, trying to see what stock to buy and this, that, and the third. But yeah, it was so much material that I wanted to cover and I wanted to talk about, because this doesn't mean that I'm actually back or anything, but I did want to do this video, and I actually had to write stuff down on my laptop as to what I'm going to be discussing. So yeah, I definitely appreciate everybody that's been keeping up with the channel these past few years. I know a lot of people have pretty much moved on from my channel and probably several other people's channels as well, because again, I was just on YouTube the other day and I was going through stock related videos, and I happened to come across mine. I actually the algorithm actually showed one of my videos from so long ago, and I just started remembering, hey, this was something that I was like into at that time. So this is not me coming back and, I'm going to be like full time doing this. But again, I just want to be more transparent with you guys as to some of the things that was going on during that time. So we got to go back almost 2 or 3 years to actually see what I've been doing, what I've been up to. And that's one of the topics that I wanted to talk about today, is what actually have I been up to. So I remember that the portfolio actually reached $100,000, which was a big milestone for me. I had been doing this for 4 years. I have been into the markets for 4 years. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of sacrifices. I was constantly adding to my portfolio, like almost daily, just trying to add to it, trying to just make those milestones. When I first started this portfolio, I had a milestone of $10,000. And then once I exceeded that, I said that my next milestone would be $25,000. And then once I got to that, I made it to 50,000, then 100,000. And then, I just went on from there. But, things happen in the market all the time, guys. And, I've seen so many instances where the markets have crashed. We just went through a pandemic not that long ago. And back in 2020, there was a pandemic. A pandemic, and then we also was dealing with some crazy inflation numbers. Maybe about like 2 years ago, which is probably still going on today. We're still seeing some massive fluctuations with inflation and how to combat that. But what I've been up to, I think that's one of the topics I want to hurry up and get to. And I really don't want to make this video too long, but I think just due to the nature of me not doing this and me being out of the game for so long, this video might be a tad long. So I do want to cover all the topics. And like I said, I will try to be as transparent as possible. So, well, for starters, right, you guys got to look at the portfolio is currently sitting at 291,605. Well, now it just went down to 500. The markets are open right now. So that you're going to see constant fluctuations with my portfolio. And again, like I said, I try to be transparent with you guys. So, we started back in 2017, and I got my toes into the market. And pretty much we are just like sort of investing in the market from this point on. I know it starts off with $76,000, but that's not the amount I started off with. Like everybody starts off with zero and then they just build from there. But it was just a really constant learning process throughout the years, going from 2017 all the way to maybe about 2020 when that pandemic happened. And then after that, obviously the selling started, right? I think my portfolio was headed to $100,000, but that pandemic really raided on a lot of people's parade, and that really caused the markets to crash. So pretty much everything crashed. We're going from talking about tech stocks to healthcare to oil to pretty much everything. And I think my portfolio sunk all the way down to like 50,000. So I was about to hit $100,000, and then my portfolio sunk all the way down to about 50,000. So I don't know if that's reflected here. I know it doesn't really look like I lost much, but in truth, the reality is that I did lose a ton of money during that time. I actually went negative. I actually went negative for the year. Negative for 2020. So that was not a good look, if you want to call it that. Like I said, I always say that I try to be transparent. So hindsight is 2020. Looking back, I did make some moves that I wasn't proud of. But obviously those stimulus packages started coming in, and the Federal Reserve started pumping the markets to keep the markets from crashing. And then after that, there you go, right? The market started going back up again, and we actually hit $100,000, which was a big milestone for me. And I know it's kind of funny because like several other people that I was actually watching, they were also hitting those numbers. They were also hitting like $100,000 around the same time I did. I think one of my followers, and somebody who I was watching at the time, was biggest bullish investor. He also hit $100,000 around the time I did. So, shout outs to Biggest. And I'll talk more about him later on. But needless to say, obviously we got to 2022, and then the problems with inflation started happening with the Federal Reserve pumping so much money into the market. So, again, like I said, I think it's just hindsight is 2020. They pumped the markets up with, the money that they printed, and then that caused inflation to go out of control. And the Federal Reserve had to respond with that. They had to respond by, increasing the interest rates. And obviously, when interest rates goes up, a lot of the riskier plays start to go down. So we saw a massive correction in the Russell. And pretty much like the Russell pretty much crashed. It was down like 25, 30%, 50%, whatever it was. And tech stocks were just getting slammed, absolutely killed off. I think I saw Meta go from like $540 all the way down to like a ridiculous amount. Like it was like unbelievable. I literally looked at Meta one day and it was at $95 or something like that. And I just could not believe that Meta sold off like that. But yeah. Needless to say, that happened to me, right? And I was holding a lot of tech companies during that time, during 2022, and so I caught the worst of it. So it seemed like my portfolio went down pretty much every day during that time. And I mean, again, it's not a good look when you see your portfolio going down and your portfolio losing money. So I was really going through a lot of things during 2022. Obviously, I was just losing a lot of money just by my sheer amount of tech stocks that I was holding. But I was also going through things in real life. So I was getting ready to move to another state. Obviously, my job, obviously, would just, just dealing with all the pressure of being in school and trying to just manage life. And it just got to the point where I didn't want to do it anymore. But even if I did want to do it, I couldn't do it because there was just so many things happening around that time. So it just got to the point where I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. And by that point, I had been doing it for 5 years. So I started in 2017 and I got all the way to like 2022, and I was sort of burnt out from doing it. So I just didn't want to do it anymore. And I just moved on. I stopped doing it. Obviously it wasn't fun losing money. We all want to shoot. It's so funny because we all want to show our portfolio when it's doing well, when we are making money and we're all like saying, oh man, we look at this portfolio. It just keeps going up and up and up. And then, I just want to say like shout outs to all the people who are actually like showing their portfolios when it's like down, when you know that you've made a mistake, and that you know that you've lost a lot of money. And that's happened to me. That I've shown plenty of videos where I was actually losing a lot of money, and I also lost my discipline in the market by trying to flip the money into something bigger. And that's pretty much what happened. Again, I try to be transparent with you guys. That's pretty much what happened. So during 2022, everybody was selling off. Everybody was selling off these tech companies. And around maybe July or June, I ended up selling all my tech companies. And I ended up, I ended up going over to Bitcoin. We'll just take a look at Bitcoin right quick, if I can pull it up here. So, well, in general, I ended up going over to cryptocurrency because cryptocurrency was also getting obliterated. And to me, again, it's sort of like, okay, like, has this going down a lot? I can probably flip this money and get this money back. So I ended up buying Bitcoin. But I think the one that I really was interested in was the ticker symbol is ADA, and that is Cardano. This is the one I was buying a lot of, trying to flip that money back. And obviously it did not go well. So I purchased it at around maybe about 38. It was like around 30, like 40 cents, or like 40 cents, 38 cents. And I bought 100,000 Cardano, and it just kept going lower. It just kept going lower. And, I was trying to do some moves with Shiba Inu. I was trying to do some moves with Dogecoin. And it just seemed like no matter what I did, it just kept going lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. And again, that's not fun. It's not fun to see your portfolio shrinking all the way to zero, right? And shrinking all the way to nothing. So basically for me, not only could I not show this because I was just dealing with all the stuff that I was doing, but I wouldn't even wanted to do it anyway because losing money is not fun. And that's why I always say, like, shout outs to all the people who are showing their portfolios when their portfolios are in the red, because we always want to show us doing well, but we never want to show us like losing money and all this other stuff. And then everybody's kind of just clowning us and, this, that, and the third. I definitely get it. And, just looking at what I'm doing right now, like, I haven't done this in over 2 years, 3 years, but here we are, right? So that's pretty much that was pretty much what was going on during that time. And obviously the portfolio actually hit a low of $45,000. So we went from like 100,000 all the way to like 45,000. I think it even got lower than that. Robinhood has a weird way of displaying like your results in terms of like the 5-year chart or per 1 year chart. But I think I actually like hit like $25,000. It was around 25,000. And I actually held on to my Cardano coins for a long period of time, but I knew I wanted to get back into the market. So the minute that Cardano started going up, I ended up selling Cardano. So we ended up selling Cardano because I wanted to get back into the stock market. I did. My heart was not into cryptocurrency. So the minute it went up, I sold. This was around 2023. So I was holding like $100,000. Excuse me, I said $100,000. I was holding 100,000 Cardano coins, and it went up to about 43-ish, like right around here, and then I sold it. So I sold it, and then obviously I think that was a good move. Again, they say hindsight is 2020, right? So I sold it, and then Cardano ended up getting delisted and from Robinhood. So you cannot buy Cardano anymore on Robinhood, and you cannot buy Solana anymore on Robinhood. They have delisted those cryptocurrencies. So I actually dodged a bullet by doing that. So that sort of left me in a weird situation. That left me in a peculiar situation. That left pretty much, I had about $72,000 ready to, I had around $72,000 of capital to deploy back into the market. The problem was that it wasn't now. So at this point in time, I'm pretty much looking at tech companies because the tech, we always know that the tech sector is like the breadwinner. Everybody knows that the tech sector controls most of the market, and these giant mega corporations, anytime when they move, they pretty much move the entire market. So I was looking at stuff like probably like Apple. I was looking at some of the ones that I always used to look at, like back in the day when I was like doing all this trading and stuff. I was looking at Amazon. I think Amazon was at $90 when I was looking at it. It may be, and now it's sitting around I was getting ready to say 1,000. It's sitting at 208. When I saw it, it was at around 90. So it was definitely around here, I think. Yeah, somewhere around here. It was like February. It was like going on March, and it was right around there. So I didn't know what to buy, but another company, and so basically, first off, you guys know obviously the shift in the market in terms of what's been going on with this whole artificial intelligence movement in the markets. This is sort of like the new big kid on the block, if you want to call it that. Like I said, this is just in hindsight. It's like the new big kid on the block is supposedly AI, artificial intelligence. So it's been that way since 2023. Yeah. And I actually had bought NVIDIA. We're going to go take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA was pretty much the biggest breadwinner when it came to the AI stocks, because I think it did maybe like a 10x or something like that. Yeah. So this is what NVIDIA's charts looks like, and obviously by this point, this is just this is ridiculous. Like when I saw NVIDIA kept going up every day, I actually bought NVIDIA at 177 because I had bought 25 shares before the stock split. So that left me with 100 shares at a total cost of 177. I ended up selling those shares. Again, like I said, I'm trying to be transparent with you guys. Around a time when the markets were crashing, that ended up being a very big mistake, because I think for the 100 shares that I had, I would have over $100,000. So if you do the stock split that they did, again, they had another stock split, right? So I would be up $147,590 more if I had held on to NVIDIA. That really didn't sit well with me. That left a bitter taste in my mouth. I was really pissed off. I could have made a lot of money and I didn't, and it was frustrating to watch. It was frustrating to watch this company continuously go up every single day. And that's what it did. I'm showing you guys right now, like, what is this chart? Look at the chart. It barely dipped at all. Just looking at the chart, it barely dipped at all. So this sort of like changed my mindset on like how am I going to approach this market the second time. Like it was sort of like my second upbringing when it comes to, okay, what do I want to do? Am I a long-term investor, or am I somebody that's going to put my money where my mouth is and do something that's just absolutely so ridiculous that it can backfire and I can lose a lot of money. So my thought process was, I've already lost a lot of money, so why am I not betting on myself? And we're going to quickly go over the portfolio right now, because I think, like I said, I've definitely showed my all-time chart, which I am up $215,000. But let's just look at the portfolio. Let's cover the portfolio. So for the past week, we are up $82,000 for a 39% return. For the past month, we're up $84,000 for the 40% return. For the past 3 months, I am up 99% for a $145,000 return. For the past year, I am up 242% for a $206,000 return. And I think that's pretty much similar for the, that's the year-to-date chart, right? That's the year-to-date chart. The past 1 year chart, I am up $194,000 for a 190% return. So almost like 3 times my money, at double times my money. So now that we gotten that out the way, I want to talk about, and I'm just looking at my notes here because there is a lot to talk about, but The market just closed, so now you see the after hours trading. In my notes, it says that, again, I was looking around just to see how many people are still doing this, how many people have remained into making YouTube videos about their portfolio. And there were a couple of names that I was watching. I was trying to follow them. And, obviously, I think most of us had started pretty much at the same time. But just again, and like I said, I'm just being transparent. Some of the people that I was watching was, Lydia Santiago. Another person I was watching was Jake Jones. Another person was biggest bullish investor. I was watching him, and another. I'm just naming a few names. I'm not gonna name everyone because there was just so many people at that time trying to do the Robinhood portfolio reviews videos on YouTube. So it was just so many people, right? And I think I was watching a little bit of the Robinhood investor I think he changed his name now to Rob the Investor. So, he used to be Robinhood Investor, but now he's Rob the Investor. And, we had some other people who had like bigger success on YouTube that actually started really early, and they had found some success. So obviously, Dr. Dividend was one. He definitely had some success with it. He started off as a a buy and hold person, but then he started dabbling more into options, and he pretty much never left options. He's more of an options trader now. We have people like Jeremy, financial education. He was doing a lot of the videos back in the day. Always talking about Tesla, how Tesla was going to the moon. No one believed him. And look at Tesla today. So, I guess many people owe him an apology because, again, this stock continuously goes up. Not really sure why. Well, I think I know why. It's because I think people are tying it to the things that's been going on in the political world. But again, I'm not a political person. I'm not going to really talk about politics on this channel. But again, as a realist, you have to understand that these things happen when it comes to, political views and this, that, and the third, and the way that they can affect your stock. So we've seen a massive increase in Tesla just in the past 3 months alone. It is up 63%. So, so there was a couple of people, I talked about financial education, Jeremy. Another one that I seen was Joseph Carlson. He was one of the ones that was sort of doing it around that time. I think he started around COVID. I started seeing him more and more. Again, I'm not going to name everyone, but those were just some of the people that I was watching. And, some people continued to do it. Some people found some good success off of it, like Jeremy, Joseph Carlson. I don't know if Dr. Dividend is still doing it. I didn't really go to his channel. I haven't seen him posting anything, but many people have fallen off since the time of when we were all doing it and we were all just trying to make something out of it. So, I think I had stopped around 2022. I don't see Lydia doing these videos anymore. I don't see Biggest doing it anymore. Biggest bullish investor has not done any updates around the time I stopped doing updates. So that's actually wild to see. And I can't even find Jake Jones on YouTube anymore. So again, guys, that's what I'm seeing when I try to come back to YouTube, and I just want to see who's still around. But we had a lot of potential people who can sort of build their portfolio and talk about it, and maybe something might have come out of it if they just stuck to it. I know biggest bullish investor was really big on Berkshire Hathaway before he stopped doing videos. He was always talking about Berkshire. He bought a ton of Berkshire Hathaway, and he purchased it around the time of COVID. So I'm not sure if he's still holding Berkshire Hathaway, but if he is still holding that company, he's doing very, very well at this point because, he's probably up like several hundreds of percentage points. he purchased Berkshire Hathaway like around $165, and now look at it where it is today. It's at 400. It's almost a $500 stock. And I remember he was saying something about how its intrinsic value was probably like 300, but that has long since been blown out of the water. So yeah, we had a lot of people. We had a lot of people out here and just doing Robinhood portfolio reviews. I know Lydia was really high on Tesla and Roku. Jake Jones was just buying everything, sort of like making his portfolio like an ETF. So there's, again, I'm not going to really go on to talk about like all those people, but you guys can just definitely see what my portfolio has been up to. We're up $291,000, and I wanted to make this video because it's sort of like a moment in history. It's a moment in history where I can look back and I can say, okay, should I have sold this? Should I have sold this, or should I had held on? So again, they always say that like the future of hindsight is so powerful in the markets because it shows you what you should have done and what you should not have done. So, but let's go over the company that I bought, and I've only have one company in my portfolio, and I think I've already discussed why I have done this. So, obviously I had put everything that I owned. I put that $72,000 that I made off Cardano into Palantir, and Palantir already had an earnings report that came out. They smashed expectations, and they have done remarkably well since the point that I bought it. So I remember, and again, I'm just like trying to remember bits and pieces of what was going on back from 2022 all the way to 2024. So I do apologize if there's a lot of things I don't remember, because I don't even like remember what my password was to get into my YouTube account. So that's also crazy within itself. But I just think that there was a catalyst to why these AI companies are doing so well, and it has something to do with Elon Musk. I think there was a hidden message with that that was said that really triggered a lot of the AI movement, if you will. And if you go back to what Elon Musk was saying, around the time of maybe, I think it was either March or May, but it was March or May of 2023. And he basically said something along the lines of, and you can actually find this tweet. You can actually find it's not a tweet, it's actually called X, but you can find this tweet. And he said basically something like he was done with cryptocurrency and now he has an interest in AI or something like that. It went something along those lines. He said something like, I used to be interested in crypto. Now my interest is in AI or something like that. And I kid you not, the minute he said that, all the AI companies started just booming like crazy, like seriously. So, these rich people, man, they can move the market. Like if Elon Musk said Dogecoin to the if he said Dogecoin to the moon, everybody's going to be buying Dogecoin. And, you'll see a spike in Dogecoin. Like, I think we sort of underestimate how these rich people can move the market just by what they say. But there's like hidden messages in things that they say that you have to catch. Do you see what I'm saying? Like the minute he said that, like all the AI companies started booming. But this was like long before people were like purchasing Palantir, because first off, we have to look at, this is the only company that I own in my portfolio. So obviously Palantir went down with the rest of the tech market back in 2022. They had a lot of financial problems. Alex Karp is the CEO. So first off, I have to talk about why I did this, because it's not something I normally do. I was a sort of long-term patient investor, and now I'm doing like riskier plays like this where you're just putting everything into one company. This is, for a disclaimer, not investment advice. I do not recommend anybody do this and put 100% of your portfolio in one company. But like I said, this is just looking back in hindsight and saying that, hey, I used to be a long-term investor. Now I'm sort of putting my money where my mouth is. And this is just for entertainment purposes only. So, obviously Palantir dipped. It got all the way down to like $6, $8 or so. And again, the things are happening. It's around March 24 or March 23rd, where Elon Musk says, hey, AI is going to be a big thing, whatever, right? And then all the AI companies started jumping. NVIDIA was already jumping. Like AMD, NVIDIA, hardware's AI companies were just going to the moon. And to me, it just seemed like, again, you have to catch you have to catch things before Wall Street does. And I always wondered, okay, if the hardware side of AI is going up, why haven't we seen anything for the software side yet? And I just kept that, just every time I would wake up in the morning and like look at my portfolio, because I really wasn't invested in anything. I had bought about 500 shares of Amazon, but then I sold it because I was like, if I'm going to make life-changing money, I have to do more of a riskier play. Does that make any sense? Like, to me, I don't expect to make retirement money, because I think there's levels to this when we're talking about, hey, I want to retire from the stock market. Well, if you want to retire, then the more risk, the more reward. Hey, I want to make life-changing money. There's more risk, there's more reward. This is life-changing money. $291,600 it just sitting there. If you were to give me that today and I were to just sell it out, this is life-changing money. I can buy a house with this. I could buy a car with this. I could buy pretty much anything with this. So, but again, my thought process when I did this, and I didn't get to 5,000 shares right away. I was sort of just buying little bits and pieces of it when it was down here. When it was down like $8, I was just buying bits and pieces of it. And I looked at it and I was like, people were just calling me crazy. I remember because I was always talking to my friends about this. I say, hey, this company called Palantir, I think it's going to be big one day, because they've been doing this. Again, you have to do your research, guys. You have to do your research. This is not financial advice. This is not financial advice. You have to do your own research and you have to make your own plays. But I'm just going to talk about what I'm doing, because again, it's all in hindsight. So I was buying Palantir around $8. They were a company that was sort of like into the AI software space for like decades. Like, Alex Karp, when he says, hey, we've been doing this for decades while everybody else is starting to just get on the bandwagon here, he's not lying about that. So, it seemed like one earnings report came and they did very well. And then, I think it was just like, again, I'm just buying it at this point. I'm buying like the bits and pieces of it. And that total amount is definitely heading up to like around, I had like 1,000 shares, 2,000, 3,000. And then I turned off the buying around $14. Yeah, so I stopped buying it around $14. Because at that point, I had around 5,000 shares. So I said, I'm happy with that. If I can just get to 5,000, I really wanted 10,000 shares. And I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I really wanted 10,000 shares. But again, I only had $72,000. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just keep buying Palantir until it got all the way to like 500,000. And that's when I turned off the buying. So, these AI companies started going up. And then next thing you know, Palantir starts to go up. And then, obviously Wall Street they have not caught on to this yet. And next thing you know, the S&P 500 inclusion happened. And then it's just been a rocket ship up to the moon from there. I think that Palantir has moved up a lot since its last earnings report, and there's going to be a massive correction with this company. And I don't think it's never going to get back down to the 14s or 20s. I could be wrong. I could be right. We don't know. Again, like I said, they say hindsight is 20/20. That is the reason why I'm making this video right now, so I can look back and say, okay, either I was right or I was wrong. That's the reason. But obviously, this is just remarkable to see my portfolio just like absolutely doing ridiculous numbers. That's the key word, ridiculous numbers. Like we have almost I made so much money just off this one play, and I don't think it's ever gonna. If you guys want to know, if you guys really want to know the truth, I don't think it's ever gonna stop. I don't think I do think that Palantir is due for a massive correction, but when I say that, I'm not talking about, oh, it's going to go back down to $20 and $14 because I just don't think that's happening. Not with the stuff that we've been seeing, not with the 30% growth that they showed in the earnings report. All the things that they're doing with AIP, and I just don't see it. So if it were to have a correction, I think it'll probably get down to about 40, no less than 45. Maybe low 30s or something like that. But I don't think we'll ever see the 20s and low 15s ever again with this company. Again, I could be wrong, but like this thing is just ridiculous. Like it's basically doing what Nvidia did. And these are things that I saw before Wall Street caught on. I said, I kept telling myself, why isn't the software side of AI not jumping yet? So we had companies like Snowflake, Palantir Technologies, maybe something like a Microsoft. But, Microsoft was just a company that everybody knows. But you had a hidden company like Palantir that's, really not known on Wall Street. And we had people out there like Tom Nash and all these other guys trying to like shout out this stock where no one really believed them. And look where it is today. And it's just funny because he actually, speaking of Tom Nash, he actually thinks that this will be a $1 trillion company soon. Well, not soon, but throughout the next 5 or 10 years, it will be a $1 trillion company. If we look at the market cap right now, the market cap is sitting at $133 billion. So if for this stock to double in price, you would have to times that market cap by 2 in order for it to double up where it is today. So if it would be a $1 trillion company, it'll be somewhere around like $500, $1,000. But if I only need this company to go to $200 for me to be a millionaire. So you're looking at this and you say, okay, if this did a 2x for times the market cap of $133, $133 billion, then and again, I don't know if the math is right. I don't know if I'm actually doing the math right here, but for this to double in market cap and for this to get to over $100, you would have to times the market cap by 2. So again, I don't know if my math is right on that, but this market cap would have to reach over $200 billion for this to reach like $100, which where I would have over $500,000 at that point. So, yeah, I mean, again, guys, that is my Robinhood portfolio. I have not done a video in so long. And let me just, I'm looking at my notes here. I've already done the portfolio, but that's pretty much what I want to do with you guys. I don't want to make this a too long of a video because this does not mean that I'm just simply back from doing this and all this other stuff. This is just for, again, for me to look back on and say, okay, this is where I at in this point in time. 2 years down the line, I'm looking back at this Robinhood portfolio video and I'm gonna say, okay, where was I at that time? Should I have sold it? Should I have held on to it? So and then Palantir reached $100. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. But obviously, Palantir is now in the S&P 500. I think pretty much all the buying in terms of all the rich people have pretty much jumped in. The market cap is sitting over $100 billion. So there's a lot, it's a lot of things that's going on. Palantir actually closed above $58 today, which is huge. It's very, very significant because it seems like every dip in this company is being bought up. And I'm serious. I'm being serious. Every dip is in this company right now is being bought up. Look at this dip, bought up. This dip, bought up. This dip, bought up. All these dips are getting bought up, and this company just continuing to rise. It's doing exactly what Tesla did a few years ago. where it seemed like because Tesla reached I remember looking at the PE ratio of Tesla and it was over 1,000. Like it was absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, guys, not to make this video too long, this is what I've been up to. It's been 2 years since I've done a Robinhood portfolio review. I don't think I have anything else to add. Just looking at my notes, I hope everybody is doing well this Friday. And yeah, this is just really remarkable. I sort of, again, the way I looked at it was I started just betting on myself. I was like, hey, if I'm going to lose the $72,000, I'm going to lose it my way. I'm not going to lose it because the market is just tanking in certain companies. No, I'm going to buy a company that I think has the potential to be a $100, $200 stock one day. And I'm going to buy a lot of it, and I'm going to buy it early, and I'm going to catch this before Wall Street caught on. And so far, I've been right. So far, I have been right. And it has definitely paid off. So hope, like I said, I hope everybody's doing well this Friday. I hope everybody has a great rest of their day. And I'll see you guys next time. Whatever that would be, I'm not really sure because, again, this does not mean I'm going to come back full time. But, again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video.